Grace doesn't wink at sin. Grace whips sin. Remember, Jesus was full of grace, but he had no sin. And if grace only had to do with sin, then that means that Jesus might have had some sin in him, but we know he didn't. He became sin for us. He lived a perfect life. Jesus was without sin, and by the grace of God, he could overcome it. Grace didn't make him tolerant. It made him triumphant over sin. It empowered him to have dominion over sin. Look at this, Titus 2:11. For the grace of God has been revealed, bringing salvation to all people. And then it leads into this. We are instructed to turn from godless living and sinful pleasures. Grace doesn't say it's okay. Grace doesn't cover up sin so you can keep it. Grace isn't permission, it's power. So people think grace is I can do whatever I want. Well then, since God's grace has set us free from the law, does that mean we can go on sinning? Of course not. Somebody say, of course not. Don't you realize that you have become the slave of whatever you choose to obey? So if you're living in sin and you've said the prayer of salvation and you're trying to live for Jesus, but you're also living in sin, you have now become a slave to that sin by obeying it. And it's now having dominion over you, which you should have dominion over it. You can be a slave to sin, which leads to death, or you can choose to obey God, which leads to righteous living. Somebody say wholeheartedly. Now you are free from slavery to sin and you have become slaves to righteous living. And that's a slave I want to be, a slave to a righteous lifestyle. Grace doesn't wink at sin. Grace whips sin. It crushes sin so you can conquer it. And right now, I pray the grace of God hit every one of your lives in a greater level. That sin, if it comes around your door, if temptation comes around your door, you can just laugh at it and understand God is giving you dominion over it. If you've died to sin, stop renting a room in the graveyard.